Hi, everybody. So, we're going to be talking about word problems today on Tuesday, and there are going to be some hidden questions that we're going to have to figure out before we can actually solve the problem. So, our learning target today was right, I can solve multiple step word problems by identifying those hidden questions, those questions we have to ask ourselves in order to solve the problem. So the problem we talked about today was, right, I signed up for 120 hours of ukulele lessons. I meet with my music teacher for the same amount of time each Monday and Wednesday for 30 weeks. How long is each section? So I'm thinking, I know I need to answer this question, okay? But what do I know? I know that I signed up for 120 hours. So this is what I know. So I have 120 hours of lessons. And I also know that I meet with my music teacher the same amount of time each Monday and Wednesday. So I meet on Monday and Wednesday, which is 2 times a week. And I also know that I meet for 30 weeks. So in order to answer the question, how long is each lesson, I'm going to have to ask myself, well, what do I need to know in order to answer this question? So I have 120 hours in lessons, and I meet 2 times a week, and I meet for a total of 30 weeks. So if this is my total, I'm thinking this is going to be my dividend, 120 hours. And if I am going for a total of 30 weeks, 30 needs to be divided into 120. So I set up a division problem, and now I can do my mental math in order to solve. And again, I've showed you before, 30 cannot go into 1. 30 cannot be divided into 12, but 30 can be divided into 120 using mental math, right? We think 3 times what number makes 12? 3 times 4 is 12, and then our zeros, right, sort of cancel one another out. So I'm going to put the 4 here because I needed all 3 numbers in order to make this division happen. So 30 times 4 is 120 with no remainder. Okay, so I know if I have 30 weeks of lessons that go into 120 hours total, that means each lesson, right, is 4 hours long. Or each week, excuse me. So 30 are my number of weeks, and these are my total hours. Okay, so 4 hours per week. But what do I need to know? I don't know how long each lesson is. So I found out how many hours, or excuse me, how many lessons I have, how many hours of lessons I have in a week. So this was my unknown, which I just figured out by using division. So I know I have 4 hours worth of lessons each week. Because again, 30 times 4 is 120 hours. Okay, but I meet twice a week with my teacher. So if I'm meeting 4 hours per week, and I'm splitting that up between Monday and Wednesday, right? I'm splitting it in half. So if I have 4 hours total, I'm dividing that by 2. Okay, 2 divided into 4, right, is 2. So I'm meeting for 2 hours on Monday and 2 hours on Wednesday. That gives me my 4 hours per week multiplied by 30 weeks is going to give me my 120 hours total. Okay, so my hidden question was I had to figure out how many hours per week. Does Mrs. Blardoni have lessons? Right? That is what I had to figure out in order to get to my 2 hours per day for my week. Okay, so how long was each lesson? My answer is each lesson is 2 hours. Okay. Second question we talked about was Mrs. Blardoni pays, I have a typo here. Mrs. Blardoni pays $75 for 3 ukulele lessons. How much will she pay for 8 lessons? So here's the question I need to answer, but I need to figure something out in order to answer the question, because if I think about it, what do they give me? $75 for 3 lessons. That's what I know. $75 for 3 lessons. Now, if this question was to be easy for me, if this said how much would she pay for 9 lessons, I know 3 is a multiple of 9. I can multiply this times 3 and get my answer. But the question is not a factor or is not divisible, right? Because I have 8 lessons. I can't say $75 times 3. That's going to give me 9 lessons, not 8. So what is the hidden question I have to answer? In order to multiply by 8 lessons, I need to know how much I'm paying per lesson. That's my hidden question. How much is Mrs. Blardoni paying for each lesson? So just for one. That's what I need to find out. Now, can I find that out? For sure. $75 for 3 lessons. Okay, I can divide 3 into 75, right? So 3 divided into 75. 3 goes into 7 2 times. 2 times 3 is 6. I do my subtraction. That's 1. 1 is less than 3. Doing my check. I'm good. I bring down my 5, right? 3 goes into 15 5 times. 5 times 3 is 15. I have no remainder. So my answer is 25. Now, if we were doing mental math, and sometimes we can associate 75 with quarters or money, we can say, well, I know 3 quarters makes 75 cents. So if we think about real life things like using currency when it makes sense, I wouldn't even have to do this if I think to myself, right? 75 cents, 3 of what makes 75 cents? 3 quarters, and each quarter is worth 25 cents. Okay, so now we've answered the unknown question or the hidden questions. How much am I paying for each lesson? I am paying $25 per lesson. Now, I'm going to go back because that is not the end of my question here, right? I didn't answer my question. If I go back to my word problem, I want to make sure I answer the question. So the question is, how much will she pay for 8 lessons? Okay, now that I've divided and found out, or now I've determined how much I'm paying per lesson, I can simply multiply my $25 per lesson times the 8 lessons. So 25 times 8. Right? 5 times 8 is 40. 2 times 8 is 16. Plus 4 more is 200. So how much will I pay for 8 lessons? I'm going to use a complete sentence. Mrs. Bardoni will pay $200 for 8 lessons. And there you have it. Good luck on tonight's homework. Go slow. Make sure your question or your answer to your question makes sense. Make sure you're going back and reading the question that you have to answer. Okay, see you guys later.